A wild sauce appeared. That was such an abrupt fucking intro. Hey, how's it going? I gotta get right into it. No, a wild sauce appeared, and if you noticed, I don't feel quite as strained as I usually am, and that's because I felt like doing this today. I don't feel like I'm delayed. In fact, it's very quite early, and maybe I can feel some accomplishment in that. I don't know, but either way, I feel like sitting here and talking out my thoughts. It's one of those days. The ones I'm talking about. Wow, is that at base volume? Because if that is, then this was a very, no, I'm gonna have to keep this the way it is. It's nice, cool. Well, then again, I don't know the contents of my earphones and whatnot. What does that mean, Silas? What are the words that you are trying to convey here? Anyway, we're back with more GL Simulator Platinum. Somebody appeared. My goodness, I can't get my thoughts together today, despite my eagerness to do this. Like, I don't know. I was thinking about just everything in the abstract, my life, what everything means, what's the end goal of it all, and I'm not finding any answers. But at the same time, I don't really complain about that. I'm at that stage, in level of toxicity, if you will. You know what I mean. To where, I can just sort of gleam over, nihilistic shit and go, yeah, okay, I could see the bright side to that. Hold on, I'm going to partake a bit, excuse me. Yeah, that's good. Man, I really like root beer, but to combine that and this is not the best time in the whole world. It really fucks up my throat. And, in that same vein, I'm also not drinking as much soda, which is good. Good for my health in the long run. I'm gonna finish off this little husk here. This floor was so worthless. This section was so worthless that, I started hitting the radar because I'm just like, this can't be it. But alas, it is. It is all there is. I made this joke 100 times. No, I was just contemplating, I wish I had, someone to talk to about computer parts. Because I'm looking to actually start beginning to stream. I noticed that people don't look at my single stuff more than they do my my guests. So I suspect that either they are watching themselves over and over again comparatively to my other ones, or my jokes work better off of other people. They obviously work better with other people around. I'm not a solo act, except for when I'm writing, in which case, I like to think I kick ass. I don't know. All of the publishers who've rejected me have told me otherwise, but also, fucking Aragon was published, and that was a piece of shit. Okay, so what I've gotten into lately is, partially freezing up, my bottle of water, my ideology bottle, just so that, the exterior is, frozen, but the inside is wet, so it's so I'll push on the ice on either side, just very slowly, and watch it crack. It's so cool to watch because it really gives you sort of a mentality about where your pressure points are and how much strength you have, and it all comes out in this beautiful fucking just generally jagged, like, shapes and lines that are just so cool. Like, one day this is gonna go back on me. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll accidentally do one to a glass bottle. No, I'll never get to where I'm comfortable being that intoxicated. I'm afraid that I am what they refer to as a beta cuck. By they, I mean, you know, the incels. Fucking unbelievable. Anyway, man, I got into this sort of, yeah, let's go, and now I've got nothing to talk about. Let's talk about it, shall we? I'm starting to watch Power Rangers Zeo, and, you know, it's pretty good. I'm really liking the Machine Empire. And the costumes, though, are pretty fucking bad. And the Zord, you know, it's kind of neat, but at the same time, it's very, very below par comparatively to... I mean, it's better than the Shogun Zord, but, you know, it's still not as good as the, what was it called? The Ninja Zords, or the Megazord. Man... And don't even get me started on the fucking Ninja Zord bullshit, where it's like, oh, we'll still use the same costumes from the last Sentai, but, you know, all of the new stuff will be, you know, added in later, and, you know, we'll just have the monsters, we'll just crop the monster shots interacting with the Rangers just out of the fucking clip, and just tape it together, you know? Just fucking show off the creature standing on its own and just sort of shaking its head, implying it's talking, the big rubber mask, pretending that it's talking, and then the Power Rangers are just like, oh yeah, it cuts back to them and they're on the other side. It's a scene cheat, is what it is. Like, they'll just scene cheat the monsters in, and it works to an extent, but then it's like, alright. Well, that was the primary issue with Season 3, I think, in particular, is because, you know, it relied so heavily on scene cheating. Well, it relied almost entirely on scene cheating. But, and in the end, you know, that was a trick that they couldn't rely on for too long comparatively to, you know, the other, you know, tricks of editing that, you know, were less prevalent. Like, in any case, like, it's better than season 3 of Mighty Morphin. Like, I like the Machine Empire. I think that they're great. I do think that the basement of the power center sucks ass. Like, it reminds me of when fucking... And bear in mind that this is just a rewatch. I've seen it all when I was a kid. This is just me as an adult, like, looking it over again. It's like when I was employed at a certain theater. I've been employed by multiple, so, you know, this can't be traced to libel. We had a big loft of a break room. And in another one, we didn't have a break room at all. Okay, no, that's not true. We had a break room that was less than it was. I want to say it was like 5 by 5 feet in terms of width. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. It was a room in the largest of senses, but in any case, I was talking about the initial one. The initial one was a huge fucking, like, a good section of the second floor. Like, I want to say a third of the second floor of this theater was our break room. And that was a fucking great time. Like, that was a good, strong dignity one could have. Like, you're part of a team. You're not, it was very great for neoliberalism, or it's just like, hey, my life ain't so bad. I got a great view from my break room. Maybe I won't kill myself. Look at me. And they would also just lay out posters for us as like, hey, nobody wants these, so feel free to take them home. You've got here's your movie memorabilia, because we know you like to work here. It's a big neoliberal shit, but it is the shit that improves the working conditions. Just token improvements, and that's an embarrassment compared to like most states, the states that don't have at-will employment. God, at-will employment is the worst shit. I thought right-to-work states were bad, but now it's just flat out. Oh, excuse me. It's just flat out fucking. It's just fucking at-will employment where it's just like, nah, we can fire you like whenever we want, all the time, non-stop. Like, okay. Yeah, okay, so by state, the at-will employment is... Without a policy exception. What does that mean? Implied contract exceptions. Okay, so it is implied in law. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to process all this information. Implied in-law contracts. 11 U.S. states have recognized a breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing as an exception to at-will employment. Back off! God, this is so pretentious to want to... Oh my god. Like, here's my issue, okay? Let me go into a big old leftist rant. One that, will bounce off of the ears of anyone remotely interested in sustaining capitalism. They say that those who are at the top work harder than those down below. Now, that is inherently not true from the conservative perspective. By being liberal with the term, one can ascertain that yes, they are working harder than us because they do technically, by a bureaucratic, except like just a very tacit way, they are working harder. It's a very broad, false sense, where it's like, it's right in principle, when in reality, it's just this. It's just, no, they aren't working at all. They take on the guise, the illicit implication, that they are working harder than everyone else. But that's dependent on the capitalist principle of, an organization being a person. An organization isn't a person. That was discussed that's the big, Citizens United debate. Like, a corporation doesn't have the equivalent rights of a person. And, Citizens United isn't anything. It's just a very liberal way of handling the goddamn horse shit that is capitalism. And just like saying, hey, look, here's something we're trying to help. See, we don't value corporations over people when actually they do. It's why charities are often a scam, because, a majority of them are done for tax purposes to, actually make more money in the long run. It's this awful sort of system where, I don't know, it's a complicated and very nuanced issue, and this is where I'll start to debate internally, because on one hand, I want to say that the ability to hire an accountant to to make legal loopholes should be there. Actually, should it? Oh, fuck. Should they be able to hire somebody to break... Should somebody be able to hire somebody else to break the law? Extensively, in an authoritarian sense, no. If you're looking to create an ideal state, if you're looking to just reform your way in, which doesn't work, but for this example, I'll just use it. Excuse me. This episode's coming to an end really soon, and I'm starting to panic. Okay, so essentially, what I'm wondering is if the issue with corporations is the fact that, oh god, I lost my point completely, people. I am so sorry. I think I made a point in there. I think I justified whether or not, Okay. But anyway, we moved from the big loft into like a janitor's closet. That was bigger than the other places, but it was like 20 feet by 10 feet. So, actually no, I'm going to say 15 by 30 feet. So, it was fucking dick. It was a locker room. There was a single line of lockers that nobody used. Well, they would just pretty much store trash in there. And, the items that didn't get picked up but weren't good enough to steal. And that's the issue that I have with nap. But that's a whole nother sense of bananas. Because I can't take naps. Because, the impending existentialism is always over my shoulder. Stay wild. Me oh my.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow.